I use moons a lot in my work, and I do get them from people who do resist dyeing. And most commonly, you just clamp two circular patterns onto a fabric and then dye it. But I wanted to show you the discharge method, which is quite easy to do, especially on indigo fabric, and a lot of other fabrics will also lose their color. I use something fairly simple. I mean, it isn't that romantic or anything. I just use freezer paper, which you can buy in a roll in the supermarket, and they also sell it in craft stores. And what that is it's like a wax paper with a paper on the other side. And the wax paper, when ironed to cloth, will stick. So all you really need to do is to trace yourself, whatever shape. Circle is so easy, so it is moonlight, but you can use any shape or you can just draw. And you'll want to draw that on the paper side because the wax side doesn't take the pencil too well. And you'll cut out your stencil. I use these really fine scissors. And you'll end up with something like this. And I've actually used this one already. You can use them more than once because the wax, it takes about 3 times for the wax to come off. And you'll just find yourself a piece of cloth, put the shiny side down and iron it on, making sure that you iron around the edges so that you block out the area of cloth really clearly. I've done a couple here. And you can do something simple, or you can actually go in and cut in detail. You might want to use an X-Acto knife or an artist's cutting knife if you really want to get intricate, and that's really up to you, but you want to do that on a mat or something. I did this one with a scissor. It wasn't too difficult. And then you want to protect your surface. I just taped some foil here because you can reuse it. You can just wash it off. And then what I use is any cleanser that has bleach in it will work, but this one works really well. And since I do use this to clean my bathroom and stuff like that, I have it around. And it's in liquid form, but it's kind of thick, so it's easy to use. You want to shake it up real good. And then all you want to do is squeeze a little bit onto the paper that you have. And an old credit card works the best, or any old plastic card. And then you just want to drag the bleach solution across the opening. Now, it's really easy to get under the edge here. You have to be kind of careful, and sometimes it doesn't work perfectly. But you just want to coat that, try to get up to the edge. And the more you put on, the more it'll bleach. It's kind of a squeegee. It's almost like doing silkscreen. Now let's do this other one too. This is just an experiment. Anyway, the stiffness of the card makes it really easy. Now you can use a brush if you want. I mean, this is a chemical cleaner, and I guess it's not, the greenest thing in the world to be doing, but hey, it's easy enough. Okay, so you'll leave that now. On average, I leave it about 10 minutes. You can normally, after a while, you can pick it up and you can start to see it bleaching through to the back. And that's kind of a sign that it's working. But you'll want to leave it sit for a while. And while this one is working, I just want to mention, you can also use the cutouts as a stencil also. And you'll just iron that on, and what you'll do is you'll squeeze your solution on here and kind of pull the bleach off to the side. Now when you're doing this, Sometimes you can get more control with a brush, or you might want to just take a paper towel and push it off, because it's harder to get a smooth surface with the card. And you'll leave that on until you see it bleach, same thing. But that's a nice way to get sort of an eclipse. Alright, it's been about 10 minutes, and of course, you know, the longer you leave it, the lighter the color will become. So you have to kind of get a feel for that. You can see that the image is starting to come through on the back. It's going to be much more bleached on the front, but at least you know now it's working. Now, this is really trial and error, because you're going to have to try a few of them, or you can do them all different times. Well, what you want to do now is just peel off your stencil. You actually can peel the stencil off whenever you want. I mean, once it dries a little bit. Okay, now what I'm going to do now is just take it to the sink and wash it off. And it comes in handy if you have one of those sponges that has a little bit scrubby surface on the back, so you can sort of, you know, scrub the bleach off. Okay, I've gone ahead and scrubbed the bleach off with the sponge. I mean, it comes off fairly easily, but it kind of forms a skin at one point, so you just have to scrape. And then I've washed it with soap and water. And I may run it through the washer also to get the bleach out, but I don't do anything else besides that. When I iron this, the image is going to get a little lighter, but you can see how the bleach has taken the color off of the fabric. And actually this one is kind of interesting. So that's an easy way to get yourself some moons, or even suns or stars. Some fabric does not give up its color. A lot of the older fabrics and the blues and blacks definitely give up their color, but you're going to find that, and I've got one here, a lot of the blues that they sell as indigo in the quilting stores and things like that, they're using indigo to describe the color. It's not really indigo. So when you discharge it, you can see I did a moon here, and it's actually turned brown. So, and the reason for that is blue and black fabrics are very often dyed over other colors, or their chemistry is different. So it's really a matter of trial and error. I do know someone who walks around with a little bleach pen and dabs a little bleach on things in fabric stores, but I wouldn't recommend that. I'd say whatever you got, cut it into little pieces, and do a little, you know, do a little dab of the soft scrub on the fabric and let it sit 10 minutes and see if it gives up the color. I mean, you can get a lot of unexpected results.